Well, that was the political reaction to this unbelievable handling of the 3 Chinese warships in our waters. Let me now talk to someone who's one of our top strategists for a real sort of military strategic overview. Joining me is Peter Jennings, a former Deputy Secretary for Strategy in the Defence Department. He's now Director of Strategic Analysis Australia. Peter, it's great to see you. This shambles,
Hi,
what does it tell you? Well, I say it's a shambles. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's perfectly executed. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, it's far from being perfectly executed. One, we have a government that's just not focused on this issue. It's not important to the Prime Minister. He's not paying attention to it, and therefore he's not demanding the pace of information he needs to get from Defence. And perhaps even worse, Defence isn't focused on it either. We should have been right up close and personal with those Chinese vessels. We should have had a P-8 maritime surveillance aircraft pretty much over the top of them full time, reading the electronic signals coming from those vessels. We could have had surface ships tracking them. It seems to me that Defence is too mired in too many senior generals and bureaucrats and committees and not sufficiently focused on the hard operational tasks that we expect the organisation to perform, like, for example, knowing that a threat is emerging on our east coast. So I think this has been both a Defence failure, but most particularly a government failure for not dragging better performance out of the Defence organisation.
It seems to me absolutely extraordinary, Peter, when you get this unprecedented Chinese move, this wanton firing of guns, obviously in some sort of, we're going to scare you, look what we're capable of, off our coast, that we relied on a Virgin jet pilot and a New Zealand frigate. They've only got 2. Luckily, they had 1 in the water there. We relied on them to be our ears and eyes. I mean, this is just astonishing to me.
So we didn't need to do that, Andrew. When I was in the Defence Department, we would routinely put a maritime surveillance aircraft over a foreign naval vessel coming towards the Australian coast. It was, frankly, a very normal thing to do. In order for Defence to be in the situation it's in now, it must have made a decision to keep as far away from that Chinese flotilla as it possibly could, and therefore it missed that communication. The communication that the Virgin pilot picked up went through a standard radio frequency, which an Australian Air Force maritime surveillance aircraft would most certainly have picked up had it been in the region. So there has been a significant operational failure here, which I think becomes very stark when you see the Chief of the Defence Force giving evidence in estimates committees today, quite at variance from what the Prime Minister is saying. I'm afraid this is amateurish stuff driven by a government not interested in defence and not knowing how to deal with China. That's the core of it. They don't know how to deal with Beijing to push back.
Well, again, I'd say to you, Peter, that I've got to say to you, you've lifted your eye off the main game. Don't forget, Peter Dutton bought and sold houses. That's obviously what the Prime Minister was focused on today. What though, we talk about the stuff-ups and I'm staggered. The Prime Minister telling out-and-out porkies about what the Chinese were up to and when we got warned and all that kind of thing. What are the Chinese actually up to, do you think, sailing up and down, firing their guns?
They're doing 2 things. One is directly intimidating Australia. It's saying to us, you remember your place. You're a subordinate country and we're the boss here. That's message number 1. Message number 2, I think, is testing to see what, if anything, the Trump administration is going to do about it. After all, we are, along with Japan, America's closest military partners in this part of the world. If America watches this, they would surely express some degree of concern about what's happening to an ally. So I think it's a test. China is seeing, will we react to our bullying? And we have failed terribly to do nothing that's of any value. And I think they're waiting to see, is the Trump administration going to react in any way? If there's no signals out of Washington, the signal to Beijing or the message to Beijing will be, hey, you can do what you want in the Indo-Pacific. So, Washington should have been taking this more seriously as well and expecting Australia to do a better job.
Well, that is a very sobering message. Peter Jennings, thank you so much indeed for your time.